suppose that they're separated more.
I'd like to call to order the Park and Rec Commission meeting of August 20th. First thing on the agenda, we do have a quorum. We have 5 of us here, so we're good to go. I need the approval of the minutes of July 23rd meeting.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion approved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Unfinished business, dogs in the park, proposed change to municipal code 20-.076.
All right, as you know, last month, some good discussion on dogs in park and dogs in parks and some potential changes. What you have in your packet is what was the motion, and I sent it over to Ian, city attorney, for review. He pretty much had no changes. So what you see is dogs shall be allowed in all city parks on a 6-foot or less leash, except for the following locations: Regner Park, Lackland Conservancy, any park building, areas posted as no dogs allowed by the Parks Department, and number 5, at designated special events that are posted, no dogs allowed by the Parks Department or event organizer. So if there are no changes to this, no additional motions or anything else like that, no action is needed this evening, and we will look at taking it to the Common Council as a commission recommendation on September 14th.
Any discussion?
With this, an event organizer, does that mean like if somebody rents the Riverside building?
If someone's having a special event that's passed, that event comes before this commission, like we have 2 of them this evening. The butterfly run that's this evening, if they do not want dogs at Riverside Park, if that's where they're using their event, then we would put up temporary signs that say no dogs allowed for this event. Most of our events are at Regner Park. Regner Park does not allow any dogs, so the majority of the time, this will not be an issue. I would look at July 4th, we would probably put up some temporary signs at maybe some of the main entrances just to inform people, hey, no dogs in the park for July 4th. Again, the Columns Run Walk, they run out of Riverside Park. If they do not want dogs in parks, that's their prerogative, their event. So it's like Music on Main or something like that. Some of these events do not want dogs there. Lots of people and dogs, they may think they don't mix, so.
So in other words, it's got to come to the commission and to you before anybody can say anything.
That is correct. Yep, that would be part of their, just like tonight's event's part of that package. Yep.
Are you allowing dogs by the playground equipment?
Yes, they would be allowed in the park. If, in the ordinance, in the proposed ordinance as it sits, areas posted as no dogs allowed by the Parks Department. Let's say we had an issue in a certain area or a certain park. Neighbors keep bringing their dogs in, they're not cleaning up after themselves, or there's a problem of some nature. Could we put up some temporary signage for that area or something? Sure. But right now, as it sits, Alan, dogs can go into your playgrounds, athletic fields, things like that. So I'm going to just use Villa Park. Nice asphalt walkway through the park. Can someone walk their dog through the park following this? Walk their dog through the park on the asphalt and the grass, things like that. Yes. Would they walk right past the playground? They could. Absolutely.
No, I'm still not in favor of it.
No. When does it go to the Common Council then?
Well, there's no, right now, if it would go tonight, pass as is, we would look at taking it September 14th. But the 14th is not set in stone. It has to go, and we can delay it. It can be delayed or.
I still don't like the idea of having a Riverside, but I know
Can
it
we,
passed, so.
can we bring it back to,
That's,
I don't know. I mean, we already approved it last meeting. Now there's only 5 of us here, which would sway, right?
If I'm not mistaken, since it's been passed already, we have to have somebody that voted in the affirmative
yeah,
to change
to bring it back.
To bring it back.
Okay. And that would not be the 3 of us here, right?
Well,
I voted for it.
No, I got it, right? That's what it's all about.
I just still think the way, like Chief Moyler was saying, as the law enforcement aspect is, to say you can have them all year and then like not on the 4th of July or something. It's easier, like at Ragnar, to say not at all, but.
Like July 4th, I mean, to be quite honest with you, I certainly don't expect the police department to be enforcing dog ordinances in Riverside Park on July 4th. I look at something like that as, we put up the signs as a gentle reminder, hey, you may not want to bring your dog into this park that's going to be launching fireworks with 8 or 10,000 people in it.
It'd be cruel to do.
Right.
Right.
And in the past, has there been dogs in Riverside on July 4th? I'm sure there has. I don't recall ever seeing any, but ordinance was different, things like that. I don't know. I've seen dogs at McLean Elementary School at the end of the day when 200 kids are piling out of the school and there's dogs there.
Maybe they were service animals.
No, these are not service animals. So some people, they think their dog is friendly and everyone wants to pet their dog, and some people may not feel that way.
I think we have several parks where sidewalks out of periphery, most notably Ziegler, Riverside Park.
Yeah.
Sidewalks go right by the play lots,
Yeah.
all the thing, and so it's all part of it. And I've seen people walking their dogs both there and on the walking paths or bicycle paths. We've got 4 parks like that, I think,
Sure.
that it's incorporated into it.
Mhm.
You know, Villa Park was another example.
Yeah.
What's over on, way on the north side, sheesh, the one down the hill.
Barton?
No,
Sunset?
going down, Sunset.
Sunset.
It goes right through the
Sure.
middle of the park
Yeah.
and then connects to the other side. It's a walkway of
Sure.
communication and, you know, bike riding and everything else, I see them all the time, so it's a difficult thing. I mean, you're just validating what's going on, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, the type of thing. So,
And just looking at municipalities just in this county, they're all over the place. The rulings are, it's, you pick something and someone's doing it or not doing it, so. It's whatever's suited for the community.
Yep. So the only one that could make a change is Jim or Steve, and I take it you're not gonna be tonight, right? Make another motion? Is that correct?
something?
Yes. Okay, I just wanna bring that out for
Yep.
everybody.
And again, I'm sorry.
We don't need any motion tonight?
No, we don't
because
need
it
any
was
action
passed last-
because it's already passed.
So-
Okay,
looks-
so only those two can make a change on the ordinance.
This evening,
Yes.
yes. Anyone who voted in favor of it last time.
Right, right.
Yep.
So it will go
Should have
to,
voted in favor.
good job, Mike. So,
mean, you can still get changed to council.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
yes,
This is a recommendation to the
yes,
council.
exactly.
That's correct.
The last recourse.
so it's gonna go to council in September.
I would target September 14th unless it's the mayor's council and his agenda, so unless he would change it or something, but I wouldn't foresee that. So, because
Okay.
with Labor Day and everything else falling under, I think the 14th is the next one for something like this, so.
Any other discussion on this? All right, new business, resolution authorizing transfer of park trust fees for the universally inclusive playground.
All right, good topic, and we have some friends here with us this evening from the All Abilities group, All Abilities team. Is that okay? Excellent.
Why don't you have them introduce themselves?
Yeah, we could do a quick, you just want to do some quick introductions, just so everyone,
I'm Shannon.
Shannon's trouble.
What's your last name, Shannon?
Oh, Shambo.
Thank
No,
you.
no relation.
Like, where's my uncle?
Next.
You were coming.
Sarah Stone.
Brooke Tilabesky.
Brittany Graham.
Very
Thank
good.
you very much.
These are just 5 very good representatives of the entire committee. They have many support people and from different aspects of the project, really, I'll say. So with the volunteers, it's been them and myself and Cindy and Megan Kennedy. Megan has been involved with this process from the get-go. COVID kind of put a damper on our request for proposal, kind of put a big gap in our timeline. But ultimately, the playground committee, myself, Cindy, and Megan, we worked together to put together a request for proposal. We just looking at, there's different companies out there that can provide us with different services when it comes to a project like this. So we put together a request for proposal, we sent it out. We had many different companies from around the state of Wisconsin through the Midwest, all the way out to New York. A couple of facilities or companies out of Tennessee, things like that, contact us. A lot of people are interested in the project. So We did receive 6 proposals back. Out of those 6, the group reviewed them all. It wasn't just myself and Cindy as staff, it was myself, Cindy, Megan, the entire committee reviewed the proposals. And when we did the review on the proposals, the fees for design were not included. What we do is with the request for proposal, you send us your proposal and your costs associated with it go in a different envelope. So Cindy received all those, she kept them. So the rest of us reviewed all the proposals, so dollars and cents were not part of the review right off the get-go. It was what services can you provide? What does this group want? What is the city gonna want? What can you do to make sure we get a solid design and a good final end product? We all sat down, we graded each one of the companies. Cindy put together a nice grade sheet for everything. We were able to put a number grade or number of point system to each company out of the 3 we reviewed. And then the money aspect came into it at the end of the review process. So basically, we wanted to try and find a company that's capable of doing this. And is the money involved obviously important? Yes, but the final end product is the most important thing, especially to this group. So we went through that process. We had many hours of discussion. Some of the meetings were 3-4 hours long to review the different proposals. It was decided through a vote through the committee that Play by Design out of Ithaca, New York would be the company to do this for us. Again, their local projects include Port Washington Playground, and that's an all abilities playground, Franklin, and also Kenosha. So we've seen some of their products, in person. When they did the, remodel of Port Washington's playground last fall, October, November, some of these folks actually volunteered out there to work with the company hand in hand at that point in time. And that was before we even went through the request for proposal process. They're in town, might as well get to know them, work with them, things like that. So for the design cost, and the cost right now for design, I'll just use the word design, is $30,000. That includes the concept plans, construction drawings, cost estimates, and the marketing materials for this project. It's kind of difficult to go out, if it's staff or the committee, to go out and ask for donations if we don't know what the final end product looks like. The committee also chose the south end of Ridge Run Park as the location for it. So if you know where the restrooms are on the south end, it would be, the field to the east side of the restrooms, right where the volleyball court is now, the existing playground, and that entire turf field. A couple of aspects about that site. We have restrooms in already, that's several $100,000. We have parking, we have other shelters, we have a lot of utilities out there. We have propane, because we're out in the country, I'll say not natural gas, but that's fine, propane. We have electric, we have other shelters, things like that there already. Another aspect of that location that we really liked, we, staff, and the committee, is the topography, the changes in elevation. If you look at all of our playgrounds, pretty much are all flat. And the easiest way to build a playground is on a flat surface because of fall zones and safety regard and things like that for any playground. If it's all inclusive or just a standard old playground, there's a lot of safety parameters that we have to follow. We're hoping with Ridge Run in that particular location to utilize some of those undulations. Let's put some slides at ground level. Let's build some wheelchair slides, that are ground level, maybe not elevated. Would we be able to put a racing ribbon maybe around part of it? Racing ribbon meaning for a wheelchair and her siblings in a tricycle. Can we do some of that? Can we separate maybe the older group or the older kids with the younger kids? Can also seating areas for adults that are watching, shade, things like that. Do we want to run different decks up to that? You got the ridge line there, run some different decks up there. So you can get up in some elevation in a wheelchair. And at the same time, do we want to run a 60-foot concrete slide ribbon down off of that ridge? Things like that. So we're trying to use the topography. Because this group, there's one thing for certain, they don't want just another playground. Nothing against Port Washington, Franklin, or Kenosha, but I think they would like something even more spectacular than that. And I think their drive is definitely there. Their heart's in the right place, but I think their drive and their mental game plan their fundraising game plan and things like that. I think it's set. I think they have, a lot of their ingredients are there for them to be successful. So when we talk about $30,000 for design, that's what we're looking at, is the drawings, the construction drawings, cost estimates, and the marketing materials. For the design process, again, it's not just city staff, it's city staff, the committee, and also community partners. We're gonna work with the schools. We're also hoping not to only work with West Bend, but other people in Washington County. For Washington's playground is a destination, Franklin's is a destination. This is going to be a destination playground. It's not just for West Bend. It's gonna bring in folks. If this is truly all-inclusive and all abilities playground, we're gonna bring in folks from other communities. I can tell you, when my kids were younger, I had no problem going to Port Washington to go use that facility over there. That's close, that's a piece of cake, so this will definitely be a destination. We'd also like to announce that the Friends of West Bend Parks and Recreation also donated $15,000 towards the design of this. So this evening, what we are requesting is a transfer of $15,000 from the Park Trust Fund. Right now we have, let me put these on, $290,830.77 in that account. Again, the Park Trust fees or the impact fees are the funds that we receive from different housing developments throughout the city. We get just under $2,000 per unit when something is built. So if a new condominium complex goes up and there's 80 units in there, we get $1,900, and I think it's $75 for each unit in that facility. So that's where these fees come from. Also with the Park Trust funds, we have to use them within 7 years of receiving them. So right now, Carolyn did an excellent job several months ago, bringing our Park Trust Fund accounts up to date, so we know exactly where we are at. In about 2015, that account it bottomed out. We were at 0. So what we have in there, Carolyn has it per month, per year, where we are at. So that's the account we would request a transfer from for this evening for $15,000 to fulfill that need of $30,000 for, I'll say, design again. So.
Great. Any questions for Mike or discussions or questions for the group here?
Well, if the group wants to talk, that's fine. But then I've got some.
Do you have anything you want to say or anything? Or?
It's an honor to be here, honestly. We're ready to put West Bend on the map and really bring our community together, proving that we are truly all-inclusive in this area, and it will be the first truly all-inclusive playground in Washington County. It's definitely gonna bring the revenue and the traffic and everything we're looking for, plus bring tons of excitement to kids that are non-typical or neurotypical, be able to play with their peers, their family members. It's gonna be amazing.
Outstanding.
Anybody else? I've got several questions, queries on this. I think this is fantastic, place to put it is in Ridgeland Park over on the south side there. Being a next door neighbor to it, several things come to mind. This year is no indication. Carolyn can probably give us a better feel for this, but this is one of the most popular parks in the summer that we have for graduation parties and wedding receptions and everything else. In fact, probably it rivals La Colorada, if I'm not mistaken, with the number of parties and everything that go on there. I'm a little bit concerned, so to speak, about the impact that's going to have on our rental revenue. In fact, were you proposing possibly to locate this? I mean, are you going to remove the existing playground that's there and the volleyball court?
We don't know yet.
This is, I think,
That's
a
what this
question-
process would.
This is a question we have to keep in mind. Also, how you're going to access it there, because I assume there's going to be some drop-offs and everything with wheelchairs, walkers, and what have you. You know, just one area to get in. And that's also a traffic thing, and I can foresee problems with that. I'm very concerned with the proximity of the park, the Ability Park, right next to the cabin and the pavilion on the other side, because that's the hub or the center of where all of the parties are, so to speak. And Lemikuya having lived next door to that, they're not quiet, and they're very boisterous, and they're very, very popular. And I would hate to see this be a deleterious impact on this very fine development. So I think that we have to keep that in mind on location within the park. Just happen to look at it a little bit, because I'm in there almost every other day with my dog, and what have you. And so take a little bit more keener interest on it, and I think the further you can move it to the north of what you're talking about is to the advantage of the children and the people that will be utilizing this. And also, you could also then put an ingress down at that north end, where it'd be much easier to make that the access where people can be dropped off and can go up. And I think there might be after a little earth moving, but
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, but we got bulldozers.
Sure.
And I know how to run one, ask me.
Oh, geez, I don't know if we got enough room out there, Jim.
You will. I'll make it, I'll make it. My point is that these are some of the questions that arose to me when I was hearing that you wanted to put it in such close proximity to all those existing things. And the big thing is the impact, the negative impact it potentially might have, and I'm concerned about the safety of it. The secondary thing is that that area also is a primo revenue producer for rentals for parties, especially in the summer. Now, I recognize that this year is no good, but Carolyn can tell you, isn't it almost every weekend in the past, we were booked in the summer for parties, pretty much.
Usually in the past, yes.
Yeah, in the past. And who knows what the future is going to hold. But I think that's something we have to keep in mind and not get dead set on that particular site, right where that existing playground is, to be very, very honest. That's just my opinion, it's just
Sure.
my observation I have on that. Because I'd hate to see everything get going and all of a sudden, you put bucks and everything, everybody's all excited about it. And then you have a graduation party or a wedding party come in, and let me tell you, they are something else. And that wouldn't lend itself to the positive experience that you want to have for all the families involved in this.
Sure.
And that's, make this a very, very positive thing, as you're alluding to. Because if it isn't positive, you can forget people won't come out. And this also might be impetus to get the township to improve that road coming in there.
Well, we were hoping you would use your influence on that, Jim.
No, they don't like me anymore.
Oh, jeez. So, no, Jim brings up some real good points, and that's why we want to hire a professional company and work through this design process. Right now, I mean, obviously, we need to drop off, and we need, obviously, to drop off that's handicap accessible, things like all that. And you look at the south end of the restrooms, which is the in and out, or access to those areas. Do we even have enough room down there right now for a turnaround or anything else like that? Would it just become too congested? It might. Right now, we're all used to going up to the playgrounds from that direction because that's the way it's set up now. Like Jim mentioned, to the north of the restrooms, are we gonna have people able to drive up to the plateau, unload up there, maybe drive back down and park? Would we have handicap parking up on top, something like, we don't know yet. That's the $30,000 and part of the design process. But no, a lot of logistics involved, I mean, including the road. I'll say it, the one drawback, and I haven't been secretive about it, I don't like the road coming in, I don't like the driveway coming in. We looked at many, many different locations. We looked at locations that we don't even own. More centrally located, do we want it centrally located? Looking at some of the different scenarios for some of these young people, the green backdrop, the soft setting, all that, it really plays into what we're trying to do here. Not in the middle of the city with noise and whatnot.
Did you look at Parkside?
We did look at Parkside O, and again, we own the property at Parkside O, that's a positive. Some of the negatives, we have no utilities out there, no restrooms. I mean, the restrooms that we have out at Ridge Run on the south end, don't ask me the numbers off the top of my head, but these are like high-use restrooms that the numbers of people, the numbers of urinals and toilets, and then the ladies in the toilets and the capacity, it's all there. The well is high capacity for that use. So it's that, I mean, that's several $100,000 just in the restrooms right there.
That won't even get you close.
Yeah, I mean.
Parkside, oh, that won't even get you close.
Yeah, so it's, and again, there's a site over on Indiana Avenue, I have it in our park system at some point in time, right along Indiana, that this would maybe be a good setting for that, or maybe a future skate park or something. Just something, so.
I'm a big fan of Ridgeland Park. I believe we should use the parks to the full capacity. I'm glad, I hope they're overloaded. To me, that's what they're for. And we have the restrooms there, you can bring a bus in there. And sure, there might be 6 times a year there's a graduation or a wedding, or 8 times a year that it might be. Well, Jim, what is it, how many times a year do they have a graduation or a? Let's just say
that's hard.
12. 12 days out of
Yeah.
365.
Yeah.
So what? You want to use it. These people might come
I think
Monday,
we'll-
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
I think this would generate more revenue,
Yes, I will guarantee you.
so.
You want to fill that park up like you wouldn't believe. And if there's a graduation there that day, somebody have to make adjustment. Or they might have to call Carol and say, we're bringing a bus of 100 people, and there's a graduation, and say, well, maybe we'll back off this day and do it on a Thursday.
Yeah.
So you want to fill the place up. Especially, it's there, it's paid for, I think it's the right spot. That's my 2 cents. Anybody else? All right, so we need a motion.
I just need to say, we as a team have done tons of research as well on locations. Like Mike said, we've really looked into our options. And with Ridge Run, we first look into it from a special needs perspective. That's why we're here, and that's why we need all of you. You guys obviously look at it from a city perspective, we look at it from a special needs perspective. And like Mike said, you know, the green backdrop, the secluded location, quiet, the trails, the opportunity to really bring calmness to children that may have very hectic minds is very important to us. So when this location came up, it was really important that we did have a very nice, quiet, secluded location. I understand there's lots of graduation parties. I had a graduation party there when I graduated high school, loved it out there. But I also think it might open you up to having a lot more other events there, knowing there's an all-inclusive playground. An event where a child with special needs is graduating from high school. This would be a great or birthday party. An opportunity to really open up that revenue and maybe more use for those pavilions. I know definitely those pavilions are very important and it's nothing we ever want to get rid of. Those are huge aspects, great place for families to rest and eat lunch, so on and so forth. So we definitely see that. We have also done our research that Franklin, Port Washington, they see field trips almost daily. You know, you're gonna have families coming with their schools to this location from Slinger, from Kewaskum, from all over. So I think it's really gonna open up that area and that venue for everybody, especially West Bend. So, just a little perspective from our end, we definitely are 100% invested and done our research and we're eager to get moving.
Perfect.
Really?
With the experts.
More money.
No, and Sarah brings up a good point. We could have more rentals. We could have more rentals with special needs families, as she said too, and during the week as well. And we bring a bus and rent the pavilion for a picnic for the day.
Yes.
I think that spot for the ability aspect of it is more likely to get used during the week or during the day on the weekend and less in the evening time. So really that does open up for more traffic.
I was actually anticipating or hoping during this process, we might find some donations for updating some of those buildings too, during this entire process,
Perfect.
you know.
Any more comments?
Not unless you guys have questions, we're ready to answer.
Is there anything wrong with the playground that is there now?
No.
Besides,
Oh, sorry.
sorry,
No,
besides
go.
the fact that it's not all inclusive,
Yeah.
that would be a my question.
As a general playground, Lori, it's fine. It's, yeah,
It'd be
100.
nice to have both then you're serving both populations.
Yeah, and the existing playground, does it stay, does it move, does it, yeah, that's part of this process. You know, there's a big footprint out there, we need to figure out a drop-off, we need to figure out additional parking, do we add additional parking on the north end for handicap parking, bus parking, and I'm not talking a Johnson's bus, I'm talking, you know, the smaller, well, or both, you know, the large ones and the smaller ones. But that's why we need to hire this company, and and do this. They do this every day. We don't, and we don't want to make the mistakes maybe other people did. Let's do this right, hopefully the first time, you know, so.
Questions, discussion?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Okay, that's transferring $15,000 from Park Trust. Okay,
Second.
Second.
we got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everybody, appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Next is, congratulations anyway, yes, this will be outstanding. Okay, Historic Barton Business Car Show event, September 12th.
All right, this is a quick one. Right now, they're looking at having our car show up in Verana Body Shop parking lot. They are requesting using the Fireman's Memorial Bluff as overflow, additional parking, but not only in the asphalt, but also in the grass, the turf areas. If things are firm, we don't get 3 inches of rain the night before and all that. We talked to him, Jackie talked to him about the grills and if they have to cook on our side, things like that. So they don't have everything exactly laid out yet. But the timing of their event, they wanted to get to the park commission during this meeting to ask for permission to use the park up there for parking and basically overflow for their event.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Okay, special event. West Bend Schools Youth Impact Club Semi-Virtual Butterfly Walk Run.
All right, again, West Bend School Youth Impact Club. They're looking at doing a semi-virtual butterfly run this year. They are very obviously cognizant of the COVID restrictions and things of that nature. So they can't run a standard 5K run. What they're looking at, run walk. What they're looking at doing is setting up some time on September 12th and 13th. Anyone who signs up, they can go get their ditty bags and things like that for the event, maybe the day before or the morning of. So again, not everyone's showing up at one location at one time, spreading things out. Their event is scheduled for Sunday, September 13th. They're looking at, I'll say, starting the event in the Park Avenue parking lot, but they're going to lay out the route ahead of time so participants can start wherever they want. Alan can start here, Jim can start here, Mike can start. So not everyone's congregating in Regner Park, one location on top of each other. Everyone should be spread out. And instead of having one start time, they have a start window for the entire day. If anyone does want to start in Regner Park in the parking lot, they're looking at groups of 25. You sign up ahead of time, you show up at the park, you go out. Next group, maybe half hour later, same thing, you would go out. But the majority of it, they're trying to have everyone start somewhere on the course, go through the course, and then they can finish on their own. So,
How long has this group been in existence? I've never heard of them.
the butterfly run
No,
walk.
No, the Impact Club, Youth Impact Club. I've never heard that term.
I don't know that answer, Jim.
Okay.
I know this event has been around for a couple of
Yeah, I
years
know the
with us.
butterfly, but I didn't know
Yeah.
this. I didn't recognize if this is a new sponsor or something else.
Looking at this group and what I did look a little bit online. I wish Jackie's working tonight. That's why she's not here. It's a lot of different things with this group, to prevention, to obviously suicide awareness, things like that. So
Okay, in that case, I'll move to approve.
So we got a motion to approve, and a second? Motion and second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Okay, donations.
Donations, so on your amended agenda, there's 5 donations listed. Another one landed in my inbox today, so I'd like to add that one as well. First, we've got Bob's Main Street Auto and Towing. They gave a donation of $500 for our second movie night in the park, our drive-in movie, which we just had this last week, August 14th. So we thank them for that $500 donation. Bank 59 is a big sponsor of ours for the movie night in the park. They gave $1,000 towards the second movie night in the park, again, just last week. So thank you, Bank 59. West Bend Disc Golf Shop provided 2 in-person instructions for a Loch Lomond Conservancy Adventure Camp this past summer, 2 separate weeks. They came and gave a disc golf demonstration instruction to help our Conservancy naturalist Courtney Fox Polson with that camp. So we thank them for teaching the youth of the community some disc golf moves. And the value of those lessons was $50 total. And West Bend Friends of Park and Rec, monetary donation of $15,000 towards the design cost for the All Ability University Inclusive Playground. So we thank West Bend Friends of Park and Rec for that donation. A donation from Pound in the Park. Amy Schmolt has run this program in our park, in Regner Park, and they have done some evening pound exercise classes through the proceeds of that. They gave a monetary donation of $330, and that is going towards our recreation division for recreation programming to support that division. So we thank Pound in the Park. And the last addition for our donations tonight, Laughing Mountain Popcorn gave a donation of $50. They were a vendor at the movie night in the park this past Friday, excuse me.
Move to accept and acknowledge said donations.
Got a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right.
Thank you.
Reports. Chairman, all I have to say is, like I said, I'm hoping 2021 will be a better year for all the fun times we missed in the parks in West Bend this year, because there are a lot of people talking about they have missed it. So even volunteering time down there, working down there, so we miss it. Hopefully 2021 will be a better year. Secretary Mike Weston.
I did stop at the movie the other night, last Friday, and again, I commend you and your staff. It was a great opportunity for citizens for something to do in the park. And yesterday's paper, there was a nice story about Barb Robertson about the Labyrinth Garden. It was a very nice article. She was recognized by the Volunteer Center. She's the one that started the park like 15 years ago.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they kept calling her Barb Robinson, but it's Barb Robertson. So congratulations, Barb.
Very good.
Thanks, Mike. So I'm gonna guess Mike Yetz is gonna be the Park Project Manager, Tourism, Recreation, Conservation, Park and Forestry, and Director.
Absolutely, I cover them all. I'm so good. I sent everyone an email on all their staff updates today. So,
Does it all.
if you have any questions, take a look at the email. There's some really good highlights in there. If anyone has any questions, contact me or one, the staff member or whatever. But just a couple of quick highlights. This evening, rec programs are coming to a finish for the summer. Jackie and Nick are busy with that this evening. Fall sign-up started this week. Carolyn came in early to take care of some problems before they got worse this week. So we have registration that started this week for residents. That's going along okay at this point in time
Daily revenue is actually a positive number instead of
versus the spring or summer.
processing cancellations, so it kind of feels like old times, feels good.
Yep, so huge thanks to Carolyn and Tanya Anderson, our new administrative assistant. Anytime you go in the front of the office this week, they're busy working with our customers. They might, for numerous issues, questions, comments, whatever it might be. So again, Carolyn is definitely a superstar, and Tanya is learning quickly. Tanya's been a real great asset to our front office, and her customer service skills are exactly what we expected. They are top notch, so we really appreciate you finding professionals up there taking care of that. Courtney finished up the Naturalist and Adventure Camps this summer, a couple weeks ago. Again, very successful program. Many parents asking that we expand on the program next year, more weeks, more time with the kids, because again, especially like the Adventure Camp, it's a little different. They're not playing tennis, they're not playing basketball or soccer. They're out, they're getting wet every day. They're in the river, literally, she has them in the river every day. She had Josh teaching them disc golf this year. They had archery. And these kids are biking all over the place. It's not, they're not getting a ride in mom and dad's Subaru to and from or whatever. They're riding from Lac Loran out to the archery range, across creek to play some pickleball, over to Riverside Park, back to Lac Loran. And their lunches and waters are on their backs and all that, and it's good. It's an adventure camp. At the end of the week, if they're not tired, well, I know Courtney is, but it's all good. So
When are the goats coming back?
the goats at this point in time are not coming back.
Oh,
So, Cindy has also been very busy with the Riverwalk. Always, when you have a project like that, there are always some good things and always some bumps in the road. And hopefully, yet possibly this month or early next month, we will be starting demolition. And we meaning staff. We're gonna have Park and Forestry staff down there removing the light poles, the trees, and physically the Riverwalk itself. If everything falls in line, we should be down there for sure in early September starting on that. We're just waiting for some final numbers from We Energies, Charter, and AT&T, things like that. We need to make sure we have enough money to get started and whatnot. So, also, Park and Forestry staff, again, like I completely agree with Mike. The summer's been really weird with no events, no mud run and all that. It's odd. But like Dan had kind of mentioned last month, we are getting other work done that we normally wouldn't with the COVID situation. Our staff is out again grinding street tree stumps. We're doing stumps now that we would maybe not get done until next spring or maybe not get done until September, October. So utilizing seasonal staff to get some extra work done. I walked in the shop the other day and there's wet paint signs all over the place. So they're painting from the bathhouse to Carl Kuss, the Ziegler to now at the shop and all that. So, and that's all good work that normally these seasonals would be cleaning up Regner, prepping Regner. They're not, so they're doing all this other work. So there's nothing I like about COVID, that's for sure, but at least we're getting some of this work done that we normally wouldn't. So like Mike mentioned, moving apart, again, a great event for the community. Let's stay outside, let's do something. We have the Luminary Walk out at Lac Loran coming up in October. The way it looks, we will not have anything inside for the Luminary Walk, like food and water, maybe some entertainment. We'll keep the buildings locked, we'll have the restrooms available to the outside, and our plan is still to have the walk. Our Luminary Walk is going to be Luminary Walk with no extras. That's good, that's fine. Let's get out and let's give the community something to do. And we have beautiful parks, let's get them out there in those parks. So that's what I have.
All right. Is there anything else? Oh,
Yeah. What's the status on Carl Kuss?
Great question, Jim. Long story short, the organization has done an excellent job raising funds. At this point in time, where I'm sitting, I don't have the exact number. The grant proposal that the Baseball Association sent through Major League Baseball, we are not receiving any funding whatsoever for this project. So originally, a lot of people were saying Major League Baseball or the Cal Ripken Group, $500,000 was what was in the newspaper many, many times. Where that number came from and the commitment and all that, I don't know. Probably some rumors that made it to the paper or something like that. There was never a 100% commitment from Major League Baseball or Cal Ripken. I can tell you that Cal Ripken is still on board to financially support the project. The exact dollar amount, I don't know, but it will certainly not be $500,000. We did contact H&H Civil, the Baseball Association did. It's a company that does work just like this. They build synthetic fields, they build natural turf fields, etc. We've met with them several times. I have several emails, recent emails from this week on my computer that I have to respond to. They're having they're looking at some additional questions at elevations and floodplain and things like that. So we are looking at kind of refining the project and hopefully bring some of those numbers down that are a little bit more manageable. So that's where we are at right now. Do we have a timeline or anything? Absolutely not. Not at this time.
Yeah, disappointing, but well, got a good.
I can honestly tell you the project is not dead. We've had recent conversations with some of the donors, some of the larger donors and things like that, so they understand where we are at. It's just one of those projects that might take a little extra time. One major aspect that really delayed the project was Major League Baseball. They always had two foundations that the Cal Ripken Group would work with. Those two foundations merged last year. So during that time frame, we submitted the grant. The last grant was July of last year. They didn't really read that grant until early this year because of the merging of those two foundations. So just by poor luck, that kind of delayed that aspect of fundraising, and then it ended up falling through anyway. So that is where we are at some point in time. if we have better news, different news, or a schedule or something like that, we'd certainly share it with the commission, so. And even like the bathhouse, recently we've had some new information on that, and hopefully soon we could also share that with you folks, so. And as always, if anyone has any questions, please stop by the office, give me a call, or let me know. We'll stop by Alan's house for Bloody Mary.
There you go. Everybody read their activities book, okay, please? Is there anything else for the good of the Park and Rec Commission? Nothing? Meeting adjourned.